So now I'm going to start because timing is now 12 p.m. So myself, Dr. Deepti Gupta, and I am here to discuss the function of the cochlear implant. So before proceeding further to the topic, I just wanted to say in simple words, and I just wanted to explain what is cochlear implant is and how it is beneficial for us. So in simple words, I can say cochlear implant is an electronic device which gives the capability to the user who is having hard of hearing problem or is become deaf or born deaf due to some reason. So now, as I'm saying that it will give the hearing capability to the user, so definitely some questions comes into your mind that already in the market hearing aids are available. Then why we are going towards the cochlear implant? So I just going to explain these things also before proceeding that what is the main difference between hearing aid and cochlear implant so that all the points will get clear to all of you. And because it's related to hearing, so first we should know that what is hearing actually and how we are hear the sound, whatever sound is coming from the environment and from here and there, how we hear that sound. So first, the basic thing we should know, then only we can understand the meaning of, or we can say the function of the cochlear implant. So before proceeding further, I just wanted to say that what is how we hear. I think some problem is there, it's not moving. So I'm pausing a little bit. My screen, are you able to see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, actually, I think some technical issues there. So I am going to present in that way only. So I hope you can bear this with me. So I'm coming to the next slide. That as I have discussed, first we should know that what is hearing exactly. So I'm just going to inform that what parts our ear is having. Our ear is having three parts. One is outer part, and second one is middle part, and third one is inner part. So the sound goes to the outer part of the ear with ear canal and reach to the eardrum. This is the outer part. And when it goes to the eardrum, the sound hits the eardrum and eardrum gets the vibration. And through those vibration, it reaches to the middle part of the ear where we have three bones and they get vibration, or that vibration converted into the mechanical vibration because there are three bones which get vibrated with these signals. And after that, it reaches to the inner part of the ear, that is called the cochlea. That inner part of the ear having two things. One is fluid and another is hair cells. So from the middle part of the ear, when it goes to the inner part of the ear, the fluid get some displacement due to these vibration. And because fluid get displacement, the hair cells which also resides in the cochlea also get some movement. And as it is defined that in a normal cochlea, or if a person is having normal hearing, that cochlea contains 16,000 hair cells. 16,000 hair cells. And a normal person can hear from 20 hertz to 20k hertz. So we can say simply that according to each frequency, we have some hair cells. So when we reach to the inner part of the ear and when the hair cells get displacement, so these hair cells get displacement according to the frequency. The sound which carries the frequency, according to that frequency, the hair cells get movement. And through these movements, the signals reach to the auditory nerves in the electrical form. And from auditory nerves, which is directly connected to the brain, it reaches to these sound signals reach to the brain, and where we are able to understand the meaning of the sound. So this is the simple thing, or we can say the simple process by which we can hear the sound with the help of the ear. So we can say the ear plays a very important role. Now we know the function of the ear. Now we move towards the functioning of the hearing aid, so that we can understand the difference between the cochlear implant and hearing aid, and how hearing aid is beneficial and is different from how cochlear implant is beneficial and different from the hearing aid. So we can see from the picture, first point, in hearing aid, what we have microphone which captures the sound, and it's the microphone send that sound with the help of hearing aid, send that sound to the amplifier. And what amplifier will do? Amplifier just amplify the sound. It means it make it louder. And after that, it send this sound through hearing aid to the ear canal. From ear canal, it will reach to the eardrum in simple way as it is functioning. And from eardrum, which is outer part of the ear, it reaches to the middle part of the ear. It means it reaches to the bones. And after that, it reaches to the cochlea, and with cochlea, it reaches to the auditory nerves, and from auditory nerves, it reaches to the brain. So in that way, we are able to hear the sound with the help of hearing aid. But what hearing aid is doing exactly? It is just amplifying the sound. Means if a person is having hard of hearing problem, then he is able to manage somehow how sound is coming and how is able to understand the sound with the help of hearing aid. But suppose if a person is born deaf or become deaf due to some reasons, then is hearing aid is useful? No, not at all. In that case, what is beneficial? In that case, cochlear implants come into the picture. What it will do and how it is different, we understand it. Unlike hearing aid, cochlear implant don't just amplify sound. It doesn't amplify the sound. While what it do? It mimics the natural hearing function of the inner ear through electronic stimulation. What it will do? It will give us the electronic sound. It gives us the electronic sound. That is definitely it is different from the natural sound, but if a person is born deaf or become deaf, at least the person is able to hear something, understand something with the help of cochlear implant. So cochlear implant carry two parts. One is internal part and one is external part. So how it works, let's understand it. Here we can see that the first is the external sound processor, or we can say this part is external part, that it hold onto the ear. And what it does, external sound processor captures the sound and converts them into the digital signal. It also having microphone. Through microphone, it captures the sound, and this is the processor through which we are converting into the digital signal. And then what it will do, it will send this signal to coil. This is the coil which we placed onto the ear, behind the ear. And this send this signal, this coil, to the internal part of the ear. Internal part of the cochlear implant. And then implant convert those signal into the electrical impulses and send them along this electrode to the cochlea, and it reaches to the cochlea. And from the cochlea, it directly reaches to the auditory nerves, and then it goes to the brain. So in that way, we are able to capture the sound. So now I just want to explain how it is beneficial. So I just let it know. Suppose if a person is having some problem in outer ear, or if a person is having some problem in middle ear, that is bone. And suppose as we all know that sometimes we say if eardrum get damaged, so it is difficult to bear to understand the sound, and it is difficult to give that sound to the inner part and reaches to the brain. So in that case, suppose outer ears have some problem, or middle ear have some problem. So in that case, cochlear implant is the best thing, because what it is do, it is not going towards outer to middle to the inner ear. It's directly reaching from outside to the inner part of the ear, that is cochlea. That is the difference, because hearing aid does not work like that. Hearing aid, how it works, it's simply amplifying the sound, and it's simply sending to the outer ear, to the middle ear, and to the inner ear. But in cochlear implant, what we are doing, we are just bypassing directly from outer to, or without reaching to the outer, we are just directly bypassing the sound to the inner part of the ear, that is cochlea. And from there, it directly reaches to the auditory nerves, and from there, it reaches to the brain. So that is the basic difference between the cochlear implant and the hearing aid. So cochlear implant is best in every case. How? I'm just going to explain it more. Suppose, as I discussed, that outer ear is having some problem, then it is best. Middle ear is having some problem, then it is best. In the case, suppose if a person is having problem in inner part of the ear also, then what inner part is having? Cochlea. And in cochlea, what we are having? We are having fluid, and we are having hair cells. So in the case, suppose if fluid get dry, and become like a bone, so in that case also, we can just insert that electrode. That inner part of the cochlear implant is having electrode. Directly we can insert that electrodes into the cochlea, and because we are directly inserting into the cochlea, so there is no functioning of the fluid also. We can insert them, and yeah, little bit difficulty is there. Suppose if electrode is not get it inserted properly, due to fluid become like a bone. But right now there are many variety of electrodes are available in the market. So according to that condition also, electrodes are available. So no issue at all. So in that case also, we can use cochlear implant. And suppose if some auditory nerves are damaged, in that case also, cochlear implant works properly. And if some hair cells are damaged, then in that case also, cochlear implant works properly. I'll just show you the picture, then it will be more clear to you. This is our normal cochlea, in which we are having all kinds of hair cells. There is no damage of the hair cells. But this is the cochlea where hair cells are damaged. Some hair cells are not present here, and some hair cells are not present here, and some hair cells are not present here. We can see clearly in the picture. So in the cochlea, we are inserting the electrode. What we are doing? We are inserting the electrode in the cochlea. So we can simply see that if we don't have hair cells also, but with the help of electrodes, these are the electrodes. These are the electrodes. they can give the facility of the hair cells. We can replace these electrodes with the hair cells. But definitely it will not like a normal ear, but definitely it is giving us the sound. So that is the quality, and that is the we can say the boon to the person who is born deaf or become deaf or having hard of hearing problem. So in that case, electrodes are replacing the working of the hair cells. So if hair cells are damaged, then we can replace them with the electrodes and we can hear the sound. But definitely, as I told you, that a normal person is having 16,000 hair cells. So as the cochlea is very tiny, we can say the cochlea size is approximately 8.75 millimeter. 8.75 millimeters. So it is very small. So we cannot insert like 16,000 electrodes into a small cochlea, but maximum up to 12 electrodes we can insert. So what does it mean? It means 12 electrodes are replacing 16,000 hair cells. So definitely some compromise will be there, because we can say simply that 12,000 or 13,000, 1,300 or 1,400 hair cells are compressed into the one electrode. In that way, we are working, but at least we are able to hear. So that is the we can say the role of the electrodes. So are you able to get my point? That if we have problem in outer ear, middle ear, or inner ear, in all the cases, cochlear implant works. So we can say simply that this is the outer part of the ear, in which we have ear hook, we have processor, and we have battery. The battery, it gives the power through which that processor works. And this is the cable with processor to coil, which connect processor with coil. And this is the coil, or the coil is having external magnet. And this is the external transmitter through which we are sending the signal to the internal part of the cochlear implant. We can see simply also that internal part of the implant is also having the magnet, because these both parts are combined together, or we can say this is inside the skin, or we can say inside the inner part of the ear, and this is behind the ear. This part is behind the ear after the skin, so that they can hold it properly, and they not the processor will not get fall. So we are using magnet. So magnet play a very important role in it, and the proper management of magnet is required. If it is hard, or we can say the magnet power is too hard, then it can give you some discomfort and some headache pain also. So this is the responsibility of all the audiologists when a person is having cochlear implant. So how to hold it? So magnet should not be less power, otherwise it will fall down every time, and it should not be more in power. It should be some balance, so that it will not get fall. And the internal part also having the receiver, internal receiver, which simulate the signals. And this is also we can say that hermetically sealed. Why hermetically sealed? Because we are inserting some part into our ear. It means into our body. So some infection can be possible. That's why hermetically sealed condition is required due to biocompatibility reasons. Otherwise it can give us infection, and it will create more problem. That's why hermetically sealed part is required. It's the internal part of the cochlear implant. And that's why after all the experiment and all these things, only gold and platinum things are used in the internal part of the cochlear implant, so that it will not give us any harm. So this is the reason it makes it little costlier. And we can say simply, this is the electrode part, this is the wire, and here we are having the electrodes. Only the part which get inserted into the cochlea, only that part is having electrode like that. These are the electrodes. Otherwise, rest are the wire. So how it looks? It go into the round window of the ear. Through the round window of the ear, it get inserted. And after insertion, how it looks with the X-ray, we can see the pictures like this. This is called the apex part and this is called the base part. Apex part is having less frequency and base part is having higher frequency. Or more clear picture, we can see like this. And these are the electrodes according to different frequency. Then how frequencies are combined according to individual electrode, we are able to diagnose with this diagram. So we can say simply from here from 0 to 500, 0 to 200, 200 to 400, 400 to 500, like that. It will go from 500 to 1000 hertz. In between only 2 electrodes, like that it will work. You can see simply from here that up to 8000 and like up to 9000, it is the range on which we are working for our electrode. What is this? I'll explain you a little later. So now I think from here, it is clear that how it is working. Now I'm going into the more detail that how these things are working internally. So from this picture, as I have told you, that our cochlear implant is having 2 parts. One is external and one is internal. So in internal part, what we are having digital signal processor. What we are having? We are having a digital signal processor. So what it will do, or we can say simply, just a little more explanation is required here. So we can say simply that the microphone, as I have told you, picks a sound and it converts into the digital signal through the processor. And as I've told you that this external transmitter, what is the external transmitter will do? Through the radio frequency signal, or we can say RF signal. Through the RF signal only, we are able to send the sound signal, or we can say the digital signal from outer part of the cochlear implant to the inner part. And what is this radio frequency signal? That radio frequency signals are like that it will not affect all other things. It is completely, we can say, emission test and all these things have been done. And after that, it will implement on it. So it will not give any harm. And these kind of radio frequency signals are usually used for any industry, scientific and medical electrical equipment that range from 0 to 4000 gigahertz. So we can, it is designed like this so that it can use it for medical purpose. So after that, through radio signal, when it reaches to the internal part of the implant, which is carrying magnet also. So as I've told you, hermetically sealed is required because magnet is also there and we are inserting something inside our cochlea. So hermetically sealed is required. And from here, it directly sends the data to the electrode. And this part, internal part of the implant, take the power from the outer part of the implant, because in internal we don't have any battery. Only outer part of the implant we are carrying the battery. So these RF signal gives the power to the internal part of the implant also, and then these signals go to the electric electrode along the wire, and it reaches to the cochlea, and from there to the auditory nerve, and from there it reaches to the brain. So now how it works, because we have 2 parts, external part and the internal part. So internal part is carrying the digital signal processing part, power, and the PC filling. What they are doing? Digital signal processing, we can say simply it is the brain of the cochlear implant that receives the sound through the microphone, and it extracts the features from the sound. What kind of features? We can say simply through the pitch, through the intensity of the sound, or who is the speaker, like we can identify that speaker is male or female. And now the techniques are going too high that we are able to diagnose like a normal person that who is speaking exactly. So many kind of feature extractions we can use. How we are going to use it, I'll explain you a little later. So through this, we are able to capture the sound, or we can say we are able to capture the features of the sound through digital signal processing. So it plays a very important role. And through digital signal processing, we can also able to remove the noise from the sound also. Like because, sorry, as a cochlear implant, people doesn't have all kind of frequencies, as I have discussed in the picture also, like a normal hearing person, because definitely something is missing. That's why they are using the cochlear implant, either in outer part or in middle part or in the inner part of the ear. Something is missing. So that's why they have to compromise with some frequency level. So what happened when a person is using cochlear implant? The person is not able to hear like a normal person. That is the truth. But somehow a person is able to listen. That is the biggest challenge, or that is the biggest positive thing about the cochlear implant. So what happens, suppose if two persons are speaking simultaneously, or we can say if me and another person, then up to that level it is okay for cochlear implant person. But if more than two persons, or we can say we are in a meeting, we are in a cafeteria, we are in a function like that, then it is really difficult to understand what sound is meaningful for that person and what sound is not meaningful for that person. In that case, noise removal techniques are required. So with the help of this digital signal processing, we are able to filter out with many filters, many algorithms, many things are applied through which whatever sound is coming from the outside, it just first get, we can say, get the removal of the noise like up to 50, 60, 70%. After that, that sound goes into the ear of the cochlear implant, or we can say it goes to the cochlear implant user. So there are many techniques on which we are working in digital signal processing. This is a very vast topic, and many we can say many hours need to explain it. So I'm not going further into the deeper. I'm just explaining you what is. I'm just giving the idea what is exactly this tool. So it is converting. It is capturing the feature of the sound and it converting into the digital signals. And what after that, because this is having the power amplifier, definitely we are having battery, because only outer part of the ear is having battery. So it is giving us the power. And after that, because we are sending the signal through RF link only, so definitely we cannot send like analog signal. So we need to convert it into the digital form. And as we know, the whatever signal we are getting, it's always in it's always in analog form. So digital conversion is required, because many operations need to be done on digital signal processing side. We cannot do the processing on the analog signal. So first we need to convert into the digital signal. And after that, we need to convert into the bits form also, because our ear cannot get everything like whatever we are getting is sending like directly. So it converted into the bits form. So bits conversion is also required, because we are sending the data into the RF link format. So then it goes to the inner part of the ear. And before that, one more important thing is their PC fitting. What is this PC fitting? PC fitting means we can say that maps. Maps means patient specific information, and I can explain a little. Sorry, what is map? Map means suppose we are inserting the electrodes, and maximum 12 electrodes are possible up to now. Although research is going on in virtual, we can create the virtual electrodes also. That can give you more than 20, 30 like that electrodes, but they can be virtual, not physical. So, but in physical, maximum 12 electrodes are possible. So when we are inserting the electrode in the cochlea, then what is the situation? Maybe all 12 get fitted properly on the proper place. That is a possibility. So in that case, the mapping of a patient is different. But suppose if a person during operation is not get fitted all the 12 electrodes on the proper place. Maybe there are no, we can say nearby and no artery nerves. Suppose if artery nerves is not working properly, so mapping is not proper. So in that case, we have to see how many electrodes can be mapped properly, so that it will give proper information to the, or we can say proper sound to the user. So in that case, mapping is different. And sometimes it happens, suppose after an operation, after a particular time, that one electrode is not giving a proper response due to some reason. So we have to map it, that which electrode is working and on what frequency level it's working. Because after the operation, many things are required. Suppose mapping, or we can say speech therapy is required. Because if a person is deaf, so their hearing capability is totally different. So we need to define all these things. Like I can say that we are dividing the complete frequency ranges from 20 to 20k hertz up to maximum 12. We can divide it into maximum 12 because we can have maximum 12 electrodes only. So on that basis, how many electrodes are inserted in a particular patient, it depends upon person to person. Suppose if somebody is inserted only 6 electrodes only, some 8, some 9, some 12. So according to that, different mappings are required, and time to time it vary, because initially after operation frequency range vary. Initially maybe patient is able to listen up to 6 electrodes frequency range, then later on it will able to listen 8 electrodes range. So these are the maps, these are the programs, these are the fitting. What is the minimum sound and what is the maximum sound? These all things are defined, or we can say designed by the audiologist. So after operation, these things are going on. So this is the meaning of PCPT, which is also connected with the processor, because every time, because at initial level, many changes are happened after operation. Because initially, suppose if person is not able to listen, and slowly, the person is able to listen. So in that way, many programs, many mappings are required that comes under this PC fitting setting. That is required. So that's why it is also comes under the external unit, or we can say the sound processor of the cochlear implant. Then now goes to the internal part of the cochlear implant, what it does. So as we know that internal unit doesn't have any battery. So with the help of RF link, it takes the power. And it decode the signal. And it stimulate the, whatever signals are coming, it stimulates the electrode. According to the signal, the electrode gets stimulated. As I have told you that total we have 16,000 hearing cells, and maximum we can have 12 electrodes physically now. So we have to divide all these frequencies, and as I have told you, up to how much we have taken. We have taken for the cochlear implant purpose from 250 hertz to 8,000 hertz maximum. We used to take journal. This is a general structure. Little maybe vary from here to like 8,500 or 9,000, or from 250 to 200, like that. It can vary because many companies are in the market and they are functioning accordingly, but the basic structure remains same. Little may variation may be there, but basic structure remain same. So according to the sound, because for individual frequency we have individual electrodes. So if suppose a sound is of 250 hertz, whatever sound is coming from the outer side, suppose if it is 50 hertz, so it will go to that electrode. So this is the meaning of the stimulation. And if a sound is suppose is of 4000 hertz, then it will go to that particular electrode. So in that way, the stimulation has been done. Whatever sound it's coming from the outer part of the cochlear implant, through RF link, it goes to the inner part of the cochlear implant, then it decode, and from the decode, it will go to, it will stimulate the electrode. And after that, it will reach to the auditory nerves. And from auditory nerves, it directly reach to the brain. So this is the whole functioning of the cochlear implant. And one more important thing is that is back telemetry. What is that? What is that? It simply, we can say, feedback loop. This is feedback loop that monitor the critical condition, critical electrical and neural activities in the implant. What does it mean? Suppose, as I have told you, that after the implantation, many changes occur in the user. Like initially, he or she is not able to listen all the frequency, but after that, he or she is able to listen the frequency, those frequencies, because slowly development occurs. As in a normal way, we can see when a child is born and he or she is having normal hearing. So it will take time up to 2 years. From 0, or we can say from 1 month to 2 years, it will take time to understand the language and speak little bit. Some children speak in very early age, they are able to cope. But generally, I am saying that it will take up to 2 years. So like that, it also happens in the cochlear implant users also, like in a normal way. Whenever they start hearing, then many changes occur in their auditory function. So what is happening inside? Something is normal or something is non-normal. With the help of this back telemetry, we are able to understand. So that is the part of the audiologist, how he or she is handling it, that how changes are occurring of the cochlear implant users in the cochlear implant users. So according to that, they can change the map. Whatever map I have told you, the frequency level, the sound level, the electrodes, all these things has been updated by this back telemetry unit. So this is the functioning, we can say the general functioning of the cochlear implant users. And I'll just let you know the little about the market. And this is how it looks. Here it get implanted. You can simply say here just the ear hold that processor with battery and with cable coil. It is attached to the internal part of the ear. Here magnet on the inside of the ear and here outside the ear. Both placed on the same place so that it will not get fall. This is and how it looks in normal way. So this is the pictorial representation of the cochlear implant. And as I have discussed here, now what is the role of that DSP, the digital signal processing? So I'm just going to give you the little idea about it. And before that, I just let you know that total nowadays, initially only 3 companies are available in the market: the Advanced Bionics, Cochlear, and Medal. Advanced Bionics from US, Cochlear from Australia, and Medal from Austria. Initially in the market, only 3 companies are available, but now we have 5 companies in the market. 2 are more. The one is Oticon, that is from France, and one is from China. So the basic terminology is same for all, little differences there. So I am talking about only the basic terminology. So what we are doing in this DSP, digital signal processing part, little bit functioning I'm just explaining you here. So what is this? So microphone is capturing the sound. After that, what this digital signal processing is doing? What is inside this I'm just going to explain you what we are doing here. First, we are doing band pass filtering. What is this band pass filtering? That as I have told you, we are just dividing it. Sorry, a total frequency. How many? What is the frequency range of a normal person? From 20 hertz to 2k hertz. But a normal person can hear up to from 250 hertz to 8,000 or 9,000 hertz. Some frequency, like if you are saying that now, you are saying, ma'am, that we can hear up to 20k hertz. But only little frequencies, only a few sounds are like that go beyond that, and we are able to hear. But normally we hear from 50 hertz to 8 hertz. So we are dividing our electrode range into that particular range. So we are dividing our electrode range from 250 to 8,000 hertz into the, as I have told you, maximum 12 electrodes are possible. So we are dividing into the 12 parts. We are doing the 12 partition. I can say that from 200 to, like here, from 250 to 500, 500 to 1,000, 1,000 to 2,000, 2,000 to 4,000, 4,000 to 8,000. We are dividing it. So we are applying some filters so that we can remove some some sounds having a fixed frequency range. So we are applying some filters also, so we can remove that fixed noise. And after that, what we are doing, we are calculating the features. As I have told you, whatever sound it takes from the microphone, it calculating the features of the sound. Features, or here we can say the rectifier and low pass filtering. We are calculating the envelope of the sound. We are calculating the envelope of the sound. That what is the peak of the frequencies? According to that, we are calculating the envelope, because every frequency has some peak, or we can say simply, I just explain a little bit, that every person, when we are speaking, we are having some harmonics. So according to that, we have some form and frequencies. So what are the form and frequency we are getting? We are just getting the envelope of the sound. Like here, suppose if I draw something here, so like that, form and frequencies. So through which we can calculate the features of the sound through rectification and through low pass filtering. Rectification means we can simply do half wave rectification, or we can simply do full wave rectification in positive and negative mode, and only in positive mode. It is up to us what way we are taking for calculating the feature of the sound. Or nowadays we can say we can use Hilbert transform also, which is a direct function from the MATLAB. So through which we can able to calculate the envelope of the sound. And after that, low pass filtering is required, because we cannot send all kinds of data directly. And after that, non-linear mapping. What does it mean? Non-linear mapping means compression. Why compression is required? Because we have all kinds of signals, and as we know that we in always suppose we are sending some file from mail, from one mail to another mail, so we cannot send them directly. There are some limitations everywhere, so we cannot go beyond that limit. So in that case also, we are doing compression. But with compression, we are not losing our data. We are simply just compressing it and sending it, so that it will get converted into the less amount, and it will go directly and without any problem. So in the similar way, what we are doing, because we have less number of electrodes and we need to send many information, so with the help of compression, we are sending this information to the electrode. And before sending to the electrode, what is required? Modulation is required, because as we know, we cannot send the data without modulation. So modulation is required, and after that, we are sending the data to the electrode. According to the individual electrodes, we are getting the data. What does it mean? It means if suppose frequency is between 200 to 400 hertz, that it is assigned to the electrode 1. And if it is from 400 to 500, then it is assigned to the electrode 2. And if suppose it is from 4000 to 800, then it is assigned to the electrode 12. Like that it will go. It means if frequency like a normal person, suppose if we are getting some sound which is from 4000 hertz, so it will reflect the hearing cells of 4000 hertz, but it will not reflect the hearing cells who are beyond the 4000 hertz. So in the similar way, whatever frequencies we have assigned to the electrode, it will go accordingly. If a sound is from 4000 hertz, so it will go to electrode 12. I'm supposing, I'm just explaining you. And according to the division, it will go to the electrode. So it will function like that. But now you are thinking that suppose if same time all the frequencies are coming, then it will get overlap and it will interfere the signal. Then the signal will convert into a noise because many signals are coming simultaneously. So it will seems like a noise. So no, it's not like that. It is not continuous. It will go one by one. So once we have designed this CIS, or we can say the continuous interleaved sampling, through this technique, we are sending the data from microphone to the electrode. So this is not continuous. This is not continuous. In this, what we are doing? We are sending the data one by one. Once the one data will go and it will reach to its particular destination, or we can say the particular electrode according to the frequency range, then the second part of the data will go. We are dividing into the frames, and frame by frame it is going. It is not continuous. So in that way, it will reach to the electrodes, and from electrodes, because it is residing into the cochlea, it directly go to the auditory nerves, and from auditory nerves, it directly go to the brain. And in that way, we are able to hear because it is working in the electronic form. So we can say it is mimicking the sound. Sound is electronic form, not like a normal sound, whatever we are hearing. So this is totally different. So in that way, the user required some training. Like a normal baby when born, then the 2 years is for training purpose. So whatever he or she is hearing, after 2 years, he or she is able to understand, or he or she is able to speak. In the similar way, the training is required. After cochlear implantation, training and speech therapies are required, so that a person is able to understand what is the meaning of that particular voice that is coming through the cochlear implant. So after some speech therapy and after all these things, the user become used to of it, and the user is able to understand the meaning of that particular sound, which we can say the electronic sound. So after that, user is able to hear. Now I'm coming to the how it looks and what is the functionality of it. I'm just giving the one example. This is the processor. This is the processor. This is the real one processor, how it looks. I'm just giving you the one company example, nothing else. So any company I can take. I have taken Advanced Bionics company, and many processors are available in the market according to different need of the users. I'm taking the NIDA CI Q70 processor. What functionality it is having? The same thing I have told you. This is the outer part of the cochlear implant. I'm just explaining outer part. Now I will go to the internal part. So what is it? It is the coil. The coil is having microphone to capture sound, and coil is attached to the processor. This is the processor with the headpiece cable. This is called cable. And this is the battery, which gives the power to the processor. And processor, what is having? It is having program button. It is having volume control button with tri-colored LED. Green, orange, red. I'll explain you what does it mean of the different lights and the volume control. Through volume control, definitely we are able to reduce or increase the voice. What is program button here? Program button generally carry 5 programs. Like if a person want to listen only his or her sound, and if a person want to listen a sound only the person who is sitting in front of him or her, And suppose if a person want to listen some environment sound with the person is sitting nearby him or her, and the person is want to hear all the sound, like if a person is in a meeting or is in a program. So what, like that 5 programs are designed. So if a user press the button one by one, it is designed by the audiologist. So audiologist can give you all the programs, and it can set the settings of the processor with the programs, or we can say with the mapping, as I have told you. What is the meaning of that mapping? So one by one, user can switch the program, and after that, again, it will reach to the first program. So this is the program button. And what is the meaning of volume control and tricolor LED? We can say there is different meanings of these LEDs. Orange, what is the meaning of orange? Orange when blinks at a startup. So 4 quick blinks indicate that the battery is fully charged. 2-3 quick blinks indicate that the battery is sufficiently charged to the power. And 1 quick blink indicate that the battery is nearly depleted. It means it is about to end. And no blinking indicate that depleted battery. It means it need to be replaced or recharged. And if orange light is solid, it means the battery is almost depleted. It means it's about to end. Blinks twice every 3 seconds, it means the battery is almost depleted and cannot support stimulation. It means it will go to the sleep mode. So it will not work. Then the fades out means if orange light it fades out, it means the processor is entering into the sleep mode. So like that, the different meanings with different blinking behavior and the blinking behavior of the LED light. This is the requirement of the user, that the user should know in advance what is the meaning of that, so that he or she is able to operate the cochlear implant properly. Or if CI user is a child, then the family person should know about it. The similar way, what is the meaning of red? If blinks once per second, it means loss of lock with the implant. If blinks rapidly, then is connected with the wrong implant. Maybe the possibility that if a person is using more than one implant, so it will connect it to the wrong implant. And if it is solid red light, it means sound processor error condition, fully removed, and we have to reinsert the battery, and we have to reset the processor. And if it blinks 5 times, it means response to AB My Pilot, request to find pair device. What is AB My Pilot? I'll explain you a little bit. Sorry, I will explain you later. So it is for that purpose. And now come to the green. What is the meaning of green? Flickers in response to loud inputs. It means the sound processor and microphone are responding to the sound. They are capturing the sound. Blinks at a startup after battery. The status and upon program change. It means what happens if green light 1 blink indicate the program 1. Green light 2 blink, it means program 2. If green light given 3 blinks, it means program 3. 4 blinks, it means program 4. And 5 blinks, it means program 5. Like that. If it's flickering in the light, but if green light is solid, it means a processor that is not yet programmed. It means there is no program in the processor. We need to program it. And if green light blinks 4 times, it means it is responding to the AB My Pilot request to find pair device. What is AB Pilot? I'll explain you a little bit later. So these are the functioning of the tricolor LED. And what is this? We can say this is sound processor. This is phonar dual microphone technology. It means it is having 2 microphones. One is back and one is at the front. So if person is speaking from the back, then it also captures the sound, and it will give more clarity to the user because it is having microphone. In all the case, it will give best performance. Or we can simply say, what is the role of TMIC2? The TMIC2 that is here, it can give the user the functionality that it can connect our processor with Bluetooth, with MP3 player, like that. So TMIC2 is also having a very special features like it. You can connect your processor with the Bluetooth and with MP3 player also, and you can enjoy the music in wireless mode also. So what is the battery? What kind of battery? I'll just show you. This is the kind of batteries, and this is the charger. How we can charge the batteries. Different size of batteries are available here. We can see here, this is different powers. Different powers batteries are available here. And this is the cover of the battery. And this is a charger, how we can charge multiple batteries simultaneously. And this is the internal part of the implant, how it looks. This is removable magnet. And outer part is also having magnet. And we can insert the magnet and we can remove the magnet also. But this is the internal part. We cannot insert and remove. Once it is fixed, we cannot change it. So this is the RF receiver gold coil antenna, we can say, through which we are taking the signals from outer part of the cochlear implant to the inner part. And this is the case ground contact. And this is the implant electronic housing. This is the electrode ground contact. And these are the electrodes which are inserted into the cochlea. And this is the implant electrode, which goes from, we can say, the outside the cochlea, because it always remains outside the cochlea or behind the ear, we can say this part, so that we can hold or we can send the signal and we can hold the outer part of the implant through this magnet. And this is the, these are the electrodes which goes into the cochlea. So how to make a connection between them, or we can say how to pass the current in between them. This is electrode ground contact, through which it create a path, or we can say through which it create the impedance level through which it sends a signal. That's more deeper things. I'm not, because of time, I'm not going to explain it, but I'm just explaining a little bit what does it mean. So this is the internal part of the cochlear implant. Or we can say these are the electrodes, or in deeper detail, this is the electrode part, this is electrode here. So we can say, you can see here, this is the reference electrode, which we are connecting with the main part of the electrode. This is the contact 1, and this is the contact 16. These are the electrodes, 12 or 16, we can say. This is the diameter at the inner part, and this is the diameter at the outer part. And these are the blue markers. It means up to what level and where we need to insert. These types of designs are also available in the market. So it helps the surgeon up to what level and up to where we can insert the electrode. So I'm just showing you a little bit that many kinds of wearing options are available, or we can say ear hook. So in the case of a person is adult, this ear hook is okay, but if person is child, so maybe it can fall down many times. So in that way, we are just covering the entire ear so that it will not get fall down. So these kinds of things are also available in the market. This is AB by my pilot. As I have told you that for this connection, the lights are blinking. So red light blinks 5 times to respond to AB my pilot. Request to find pair device, and the right pair device will definitely itself with it LED pattern, so that we can connect it through it, and we can enjoy the wireless things also, songs and TV, and we can connect it to the phone also. In the similar way, COM pilot is also there. So what it gives exactly, COM pilot is connecting them wirelessly to Bluetooth enabled phones and device and MP3 player for speech and stereo music. You can enjoy with it. And in the similar way, M pilot also a wireless communication for unilateral and bilateral. Unilateral and bilateral means if a cochlear implant user is having cochlear implant in one ear, and bilateral means if a user is having cochlear implant in both ears. So if a person is having cochlear implant in both the ears, then this also helps in wireless communication. So I think time is over now. So this is all from my side. And if you want to know something else, so this is my blog, technology related to hearing. wordpress.com. You can go here, and if you have any query and any doubt, and if you want to work in that area, so you can contact me this email ID. And this is all from my side. If you have any doubt, any query, then you can ask.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for this very informative session. If anyone has any question, you can ask. I guess there is no question.
Okay, fine. So can I leave the meeting?
Thank you so much, all the participants, for your active participation. And last but not least, thank you, Deepti Gupta ma'am, for taking out the time for session. With your permission, I would like to end today's session here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.